Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Razor from RazorTube coming at you with the Chad Stop base. And it's for beginners, and it's going to be for the beta that's coming out for Rust soon on both console platforms for Xbox and PlayStation. I'm accompanied by our fellow Boyfriend Squad member, Jade Monkey.
Finally, he's showing us the base he's been using forever. Show us the goods, dude.
So, this is a base that I've been building in-game, under fire, playing Rust, trying to survive, and this is one of the bases I started off with when I was a beginner, and I'm going to show you guys and reveal the base that I build constantly, all the time, for every wipe on
I have a
Rust.
question.
What?
I have a question. Is this solo, duo, or trio base?
I'm glad you asked that. So this here can be a solo base, it can be a duo base, it can be a trio base, it can even be a Zerg base if you really wanted it to be. This type of base can work for any type of group, any type of solo player just starting off in Rust. I know that a lot of you in the comments and all of my videos have been like, hey, why don't you do a base build? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, here it is. And I'm going to show you firsthand how to build it. We're going to walk through it. I'm going to build it out of stone. I'm going to show you guys what I do to keep your loot safe and be able to store a lot of loot in a compact area. Now, if you can't live in a submarine like me and Jade call it, which is a small base, and you're claustrophobic, by all means, don't build this base. But let's get to it, and I'm going to show you what to do. First, when you start off, you're going to lay down 2 squares, all right, in the beginning, and then triangle in the front, and 1 off to the side. The right side to be specific, just in case. And then what you're going to be making at the end of this is an octagon, okay? This is important that you get this shape correct. And let's just simulate that this arcade machine is the TC, okay? So what's going to happen is when you start, you're going to be under fire, you're going to be under pressure. There's going to be a lot of people trying to just murk you the whole time when you're doing your first wipe day in Rust. Everybody's playing land grab. You're a beginner. You don't know what to do besides collect resources, but you don't know where to build. Well, this base, what I would suggest is building near a water source that works for you, that's like fresh, which means by a river, because you can't drink the ocean water, or the sea water rather, because it has salt in it. So you want to build it next to a river so you have fresh water to basically drink. And you'll be able to do a lot of things with this base in the future. So let me just start off by making all this stone. So what you're going to do while you're doing this is, I understand it's going to be hard to get all the mats for this and keep it on your person while you're trying to, you know, scavenge through Rust. What I want you to do is take a box, put it in a bush or something somewhere with a sleeping bag. Sleeping bag takes 30 cloth, box takes 100 wood to craft. So what I want you to do is take that box, put it in a bush, well hidden, with your sleeping bag, and make sure if you do get killed, you still have your mats, right? So all the mats you collect, you put in the box, and then you continue to build this base, okay? So for this base, the first portion that you want to build isn't actually these first 2 squares, right? In this triangle. Or this. You want to be building the octagon first, okay? So when you're under fire, you're going to build this. Just how I'm doing it. You're going to put your walls up, and what you want to do is put 1 single door. Now you're going to have only 1 option for a door in the beginning, and that's going to be a metal door, or sorry, wood door. You're not going to have metal or access to it yet because you don't have furnaces.
Are we rich?
Yeah, right. So you're only going to be able to have a wooden door with a wooden lock, okay? So here's your TC. You're going to put 1 wall next to it off to the right, and then after that, you're going to go ahead and put Now remember, the things that are made out of twig are really weak, so somebody could shoot it down ASAP with a bow or hack it down. So you have to be really careful when placing this and make sure that nobody's around you. And if you have a group with you,
Hi.
like if I had Jade with me, I'd be like, let me lay down the base, you
Have you
cover
run in
me.
point?
Yep.
Yep.
So,
I have a question.
yeah.
How do you know what side's which? Because hard side and soft side. Because this is gonna be for our beta peeps.
Well, yeah, I was gonna
Uh,
get to that once I
okay. Sorry.
laid down the
Sorry,
old
my bad. My bad.
laid down the stone. So once you have the frame, you have the octagon. So the octagon is an obvious, three triangles, three triangles on each side. You'll have an octagon shape. And when you start stoning this out and you got your point man covering you, of course, you'll see this. So I'm gonna go ahead and harden this real quick. Because stone, when you're first starting in Rust, so let me tell you something right now. Uh, you're definitely going to want stone. Stone is your friend in the beginning because any primitive type of clan, group, solo player cannot raid stone right off the bat. It's really tough. It's a hardy type of material, and you want to craft your base as efficient as possible. You don't want the wood. Skip the wood tier, go to stone. And mind you, there are a few tiers of mats you can make your base out of, and we'll get to that later. Anyways, you
Oh,
want to stone it
chickens in
out.
the perimeter. Chickens
Yep.
in the perimeter. I got
Yep, he's covering me. See, that's a good point, man.
it.
Anyways, so what Jade was saying earlier, what I was getting to, is there's two sides of a wall. There's a hard side and a soft side. When you walk into your base and you see this, and it's kind of like a white flat wall for stone like that, it doesn't look like a cobble road that you would see somewhere IRL. This is the soft side. You want this in towards your inner core where you're going to be living, right? Just imagine building a base from the inside out. When you see a hard side, what people can't break very easily is this cobble looking side, right? And it's very rigid. You can tell the difference between that and the soft side. You always want soft side in. Now, when you build a base, when you're building layers inside your base, like your TC here, this wall is always faced out. Whatever walls that are inside your base are always hard side out, soft side in. No matter if the hard side is encapsulated inside of a soft wall. So what you want to do is have the hard side wall for your TC. Now, when you're building this base here and you go to your wall frame, and this is kind of pricey in the beginning, but it's okay. You want to basically do this. You want to put up these wall frames. Now, before you do that, you can do it for the TC first, and then turn it to stone, right? And then what you would do is put a wood double door there with a lock on it. And, oh, by everything that I've ever experienced in Rust, always put a lock on your TC first. Okay? It doesn't matter the order of which you build this base in. You could put the triangle that the TC is going on down, and then put the TC down, and put these wooden double doors down. But you always want to put a lock on your TC first. So build the platform, build your foundations real quick, and then build the walls around your TC, put a lock on it, you're good. Put the mats you need to maintain the base inside the TC or that you had in your box by your sleeping bag in the bush, and you'll be good. It'll be safe for the time being. If somebody kills you, your stuff is safe until they break the door. Wooden doors are very cheap, but they're very easy to break. Now the thing is about it is once you get this double door frame down, and I'm just going to spawn something in just to simulate for you. This is our custom server, and you can't do this in-game on official servers at all. So what you're going to do is you're going to take something like this. And what I like to do is I always, in the inner core, face the doors outward. Okay? There it is. Those are the double doors you'll be placing first. What this does is create a little barrier between you and people that are trying to come in the door. And you could stop them, or hide behind it, shoot them, do what you gotta do to defend your base. But what you do is put a wooden lock on there. It costs you 100 wood on top of putting a lock on your TC, and you're good. You claim the land around the base, okay? Now the problem with that is when you're doing a wooden lock, I want to do an example for you because I don't want you to mess this up because I know many people will in the beginning of the beta and for full release. When you go here, this is what your key lock looks like, okay? So it's right here. You're gonna go up to the door or TC, and since I can't place this on the arcade machine, I'm gonna put it on the door. You're gonna see a little green light, okay? That means that this is open still and people can still get in. Whenever you're placing a like keypad or whatnot, always make sure that the light's red. What I want you to do is hold the action button down and I want you to go to a lock, okay? I don't want you to create a key. I don't want you to pick this up. I don't want you to open the door. I want you to create a lock. So you'll lock it. Once it's locked, you're the only person on the server and in your group, rather, that can open this door. So Jade can't open this door when I place it like that at all. Like if he tries,
I'm hitting action right now. I cannot.
he can't. So your TC safe. Anyways, let's move on. You have this, and you have to build for storage, right? The number one thing in Rust is you always need storage for your furnaces, for your loot, everything. So I want you to take some half walls, okay? I want you to go from the TC, count out, and go 2 squares, or triangles rather, and then put a half wall. Once you put the half wall, you're going to put a floor triangle down, okay? These are essentially ceiling panels, but they're used as floor as well. After you put that half wall up in the triangle floor, you want to basically go up to the half wall and you want to demo it, okay? This is going to be your first area of storage, okay? And we'll get to that later. Now, once you do that, you're going to build one more on the other side. Now you'll still go two triangles out from the TC, from the wall of the TC. Put this down, and then another floor triangle. All right. When that happens, demo the half wall, and you're going to have 2 shelves for storage. And this is awesome because we're making our space efficient and storage heavy when we first start. Because when you first are in Rust and you're a beginner, you need as much storage as possible with the smallest footprint on the map. Okay. So here in this open area, when you get to be able to have a workbench, there's 3 of them, workbench 1, 2, and 3. You'll get your first workbench, and it's workbench 1. Before you put this triangle down, you want to put down your workbench, okay? And it's going to go against this wall of the TC, the hard side of the wall of this TC. The great thing about that is, and I'll show you later, is that you'll have your workbench, you can store a box underneath it, and it adds to storage space, and you're not taking much room up with it. Now, in this base right now, as it stands, we have 2 shelves for storage. We have 1 triangle here where your furnaces go. You can fit 3 there in front of the TC, even with the double doors. Make sure you put the double doors in before you put the furnaces down, or you're going to be picking up and dropping a lot of things ahead of time. And this here will be your beginner base in Rust. Now the thing is, when you here, let me spawn in another door real quick so I can give you guys some more examples.
Chicken.
Oh, boom.
There you
So
go.
this
Point
is
man's on point.
this is what it's going to look like. You're not going to have a metal door. You're going to have this wooden trap door that people can go through pretty easy by shooting it with a yoke pistol or and whatnot. It's going to be rough in the beginning, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to get killed a lot. You're going to lose a lot of mats, but I can guarantee you that this base will pay off in the end. So just pay attention. Once you get this established and you can get more mats and be safe from people, what you're going to do is build this little airlock area gradually, okay? So here is how we're going to do that. You're going to put another door frame here, just a single door frame, then a wall, right? After you do that, put the ceiling on, and then you stone this out. Now remember, always have point man around. And when you're looking at a wall, if the hard side's in, turn it around, rotate it. Then we have the soft side, so nobody can raid you, right? So we're gonna stone this all off real quick. See, soft side's out, so I'll rotate it in. And then,
How much time do you have to rotate? Is there like a
well, when you rotate walls in Rust, I think you have about a minute to be able to rotate it or demo it. So when you're placing
after you
these,
placed it?
yeah, when you place these, once it's placed, the timer starts for that wall. And it goes for each individual wall as you're building a base.
So what you're telling me is it's very permanent after like a minute or two?
Yeah, it's definitely
Right.
permanent.
Check.
Like, no matter how you look at it, it is permanent. Now, with these doors, when you open them, you can pick them up as you go. You always want to make doors come in and swing in. But for this first door on your base, I want you to turn it where it swings out. Okay? So when you swing it out and you have your first airlock, look at this. This stops raiders from getting in quick when you open the door because there's a lot of there's a lot of door campers in Rust, and what you're creating is a barrier for them getting to you. Yeah, they can shoot you and kill you, but they can't get in your base. So when you spawn back in the base, you can close this door and be like, I'm not going out until, you know, he's gone. Which usually an hour or two later, maybe he's gone.
An hour or two later,
Yeah.
that's so true. Door campers are real.
So you have your first airlock, right? And you have your mini bunker full of storage. What you're seeing and what you're going to be getting is this, right? You want to put another wall and then either this is up to you and this is preference based. After my first airlock's created, I like to put a wall frame. Now, depending if you're in the metal tier or not, this is important. You only get metal when you have furnaces, and it's hard to get furnaces in the beginning. So pay attention. Here, you can either put a wooden double door or a wooden single door. Now, here's my deal. When I build this base, I tend to go all the way out. I don't wait to, you know, build things up. But the good thing about it is you're like, okay, well, I got an airlock. I'm safe. I'm good to go. Well, you're really not. I'm not going to lie. If you put a door here, these doors, double doors, take forever to open. Your front door should always be a single door. No matter how you swing it, it doesn't matter what you think, what you've gotten proven. Single doors are the way to go in the beginning. Never have a double wood door or a double metal door as your front door, ever. If you do, make sure it swings in, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to pay off to have a front door. Always being a single door. At least that's in my opinion, and for survival purposes. Yeah. Anyways, okay, let's stone this out real quick, and I'll just give you an example exactly how it's gonna go. Alright. Let's get some roofs. Boom. Boom. Everything's gonna be stone at this point, so you don't have to worry about anything. Always have your doors swing in. We already got that. Now let's cover this. Okay, so we have the base built, we're safe, and we're good to go, right? Well, that's what you think. Wooden doors are only 200 HP. I believe metal ones are 500 HP, so it's double the cost to raid, but for now, this is a primitive base that can be good for any beginner, duo, trio, squad, it doesn't matter. Now, when you want to get froggy, or let's just say you get furnaces, okay? And you're like, where do I put these things? Where do I put the storage? How do I do it? And what's the base going to look like when it's a finished product, okay? This is single story for now. I'll show you exactly how it's going to go. Alright, so this is the front door. Same as that. Now, here, you can see you have a double door here. And it's awesome, right? If you get the BP for a drop box on the outside, it's definitely the way to go because your friends could access this, transfer loot inside this little drop box, hit submit.
Yeah, want me to do it?
Yeah, go
Okay, do
ahead.
it.
Let's
Look,
simulate it real
someone's
quick.
gonna rob me. I want you to take my high tier weapon.
Yeah. So say Jade's about to get robbed and he can access this on the outside
Okay.
real quick. Boom. I just got his weapon. The guy outside that murdered him doesn't get it.
Okay.
So that's a good thing about the Dropbox. I know not everybody will be able to get it in the beginning because it's going to be a complete and utter
BP.
shit show, and it's a BP. So if you find that, use it. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. You have an airlock. So we got double doors here. Now, this typically would be a metal double door, and although it is a garage door, that's higher in the food chain and rust. So you got to earn those, and they cost a lot of money. But use metal double doors. Now the inside here, as you can see, this is armored walls, but typically what I would do once I started getting a furnace and getting a little bit more money is make this all metal. Metal's the tier before armor. So you put keypads on here, and keypads work just like the wood locks you used in the beginning. So what you would do is the keypad would actually be green in the beginning when you place it, and then you would type in a key code, right? And then this would turn red, right? Green is bad, red is actually good. So that means remember your key codes on all your keypads. Now, let me just reveal this to you, and this works with metal double doors, sheet metal doors rather, and this is what the end product looks like. So we have our workbench we were talking about earlier, and then we have our TC in the back, okay? And remember, this works for the double door sheet metal doors too, so don't worry about these garage doors. Now what this creates is essentially a pocket system, right? What you're doing is creating multiple layers for people to break into your base in order to get to your TC. The problem is when you're raiding this base in the beginning, and this is the only thing I can see, is when you have this base, if you have somebody who breaks into your base and they break into your TC wall, which is on the outside.
Break it? Want to break it?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Go ahead and simulate it.
One?
It's this one. Now remember, you do not have to at all. You don't have to at all put the TC in this part of the base. You can put it wherever you want. That's the good thing about the octagon, but you have to configure it with a wall and a door. The problem is when somebody breaks this wall in the beginning and you don't have any honeycomb, they have access to your whole base once they destroy this TC. Once that's gone, they have access to your whole base. But they don't have access to your doors. They have to blow up each door in order to get to each pocket. Now what this Chad Stop base is, and what we've implemented in it, is a pocket system, right? So here is our TC. Here's our, double sheet metal door. All that stands between that TC and that door, the TC and the door is the other player, right? It takes, 4 satchels to go through a sheet metal door. If it's a garage door, I believe it's 9. But you won't have to worry about that in the beginning, so don't worry about that. So let's kind of dive. Just know the importance to, in hiding your TC and definitely guarding it with some doors before anything else on your base, because this is what your base is maintained off of, right? Anyways, so earlier we built the base, and now we're looking at the TC. Place your double doors down, your sheet metal doors or wood, and then once you have access to creating or crafting a furnace, you want to shut the door, right? We can turn on our furnaces, and by all means you can put it one at a time down because you're going to have to grind for these, but you have 3 furnaces, right? Now we have a system to where we can put another door, and that's what these door frames are important for on the top. So like I said in the beginning, make sure you do the half wall first, and then put the triangle down, because you can't put anything on that frame or edge to, like, it'll impede building. You cannot put a shelf here unless you do it first. So make your shelves first and then put in the door frames after. Okay? Now, here's a cool thing that I wanted to touch on. Your storage typically can go in a big box and rust. It's kind of expensive and it takes up a lot of room. So in the beginning, you want the least cost for the best storage. Okay? So a barbecue here costs 50 metal frags and 100 wood, right? And then a regular box that can go underneath it costs 100 wood. In this base, we have altogether what? 2, 4, 6, 8, and 12, 14, 16, and then one box. So that's essentially 204 slots of storage you have in your base once you have put your, furnaces in, and then you put your grills and your boxes in. And look, you even have your first workbench already in here. Now to access this first workbench, after you put in all your door frames, your shelves, all your storage, you have to crouch in this corner here, right next to it, in order to start crafting, because when you craft things like gunpowder or bombs, guns, anything, you have to be right next to the workbench, right? What I like to do is just kneel down, kind of just sit next to it. Once you start crafting, you can feel free to roam around the base. Don't roam outside of the base, because anything you're crafting pops into your inventory. If Joe Schmo is outside camping your door and caps you and you just made 5 bombs, you just lost 5 bombs and the mats that haven't been crafted yet. So be aware of that. The good thing too about this base is when you're creating all these layers, you're making it harder for the raider to come in. Alright? So unfortunately with the workbench triangle, you can't put a door frame here in order to drop, a double sheet metal door. But that's okay. I'd put my resources on the workbench side. And the thing is though, when you do have the double doors, you cannot jump up top to get to the loot boxes. You're just gonna have to sit down low and look at them just like this and open them. So make sure you place your storage before your double doors, okay? The good thing too about this base is you can add honeycomb, right? So and do know when you are putting the storage in, sorry, I don't mean to get off track here, but when you have the grills and the boxes, you can see that they pop through this door, okay? So you're making the best with the smallest space possible. Whatever is in these front grills and boxes, make sure that it is very, very pertinent that you put just nothing really important in there that you're willing to lose, okay? Because if they come in, a raider comes in, like, Jade for instance, he can access this by opening them through the door. I don't know if it'll be like that on console, but hey, it's worth me mentioning because I don't want you guys to lose your loot. Good thing about this is if your people are raiding the base and say they got in, but your boy was able to come in behind them, and he's got some good loot, and this door is blown off, you can definitely have him put it in the box, and you can be on the other side of the door to grab it and put it in the back storage area, right? It's a good fancy trick that not a lot of people think about. So, just for instance, Jade, if you want to come in here real quick, I'll just show you. So say Jade's my friend outside, we got our, door blown off, but this one's metal. And I'll be on your left side, Jade, when you come in. He's like, let me get in. Word. So I'm gonna basically be on the other side of this, double sheet metal door. Well, not like that. Put loot, you can access the box from the outside.
I got you.
Yeah.
I get what you're doing now.
So say we're getting raided and there's people on the other side of the door. Well, he's putting in loot. Guess what? I just got it and I'm still behind the door. And that's how
I
that...
didn't mean to open it.
it's like your own homemade Dropbox. So don't store anything important in here because just in case you get raided, people can access that. I always tend to put, and you'll learn this as soon as the beta starts. I put the components like gun parts and stuff in the back, grills in the boxes because I don't want people to get to that, right? So just keep that in mind when this base is going on. Now, in the first base, I didn't want to tell you about honeycomb because honestly, it's kind of confusing when you're first building a base in Rust, and I don't want you guys to be confused. I want you to have the best, simplest, low-cost base that you can build. And I mean, the Chad Stop base is the way to go. And since I'm in the custom server, I'm going to go ahead and fly and hover over this one right now, just to show you what honeycomb is. Now, if you're looking at these two side by side, you can notice a distinct difference. On the right one, you don't have those extra triangles on the, all around it, and you're asking yourself, okay, why does he have these? Okay, so this is why I have the extra triangles. If you're looking at it, as Jake breaks his legs.
I broke my legs.
If you're looking at it from the top, what you want to do is introduce honeycomb to your base, okay? So you want the extra triangles on the side. So first you have a diamond shape, which is your octagon and your airlocks and everything you built in the beginning. And you want an extra layer of protection just so nobody raids you, right? Or they have to blow through some walls or some layers to get into the pocket system base. These here are honeycomb, right? So what this is, and I'll show you how to install it right onto your base real quick. What this is a triangle. With triangles, it's a very unique thing. They're different than squares. When you use a square, when you hit it with a rocket, C4, or satchels, in the front, you're just hitting one wall, right? But when you're shooting it with a rocket or whatever, and it's a triangle, you're essentially taking splash damage on one, so it's like breaking through two walls. So let me just show you how to install this. And this is an extra layer, and you don't have to put this on there in the beginning. I mean, you're not going to have enough mats. But if you can, and you're a real grinder, and you want to just grind the beta to the ground like like us, you'll be alright. So you want to go around the octagon first, okay? And I'll give you an aerial view just in a second. You want to make them stone. When you're doing this, don't do it at night. Do it during the day, and have a point man just like Jade Monkey
Hi.
help you out. Now what this is going to look like is the same shape that we have over here. Alright?
Chicken.
Now, okay, when you get, and I mean, you don't got to do this from the top of your base, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because I like a good visual, and I like being able to see if it's hard side or soft side. When you do this, I don't know, if you want to do it a triangle at a time, that's fine, just in case you get robbed or shot, because it's going to happen in Rust when you're building your base. Somebody's going to come up behind you and just shank you in the back, or shoot you and take your loot. So what I like doing, the reason why it's called a honeycomb is because you got that, middle that's kind of hollow. Always make sure the hard side's out.
Don't fall in.
Yeah, do not fall in, because once you fall in, either your friend's got to bail you out and you can throw them up your loot, or you just are stuck down there. And if you're solo, that's kind of a pain because you can't get out. You got to kill yourself, and then you lose those mats. So there we go. This is what your honeycomb's going to look like. Make sure you go ahead and put a nice ceiling on there. And do remember, you always need building plans and a hammer to do this. Which I should have mentioned in the beginning, but, And then there you have it. There is our Chad Stop base. Huh.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
like, in the beginning,
Yeah.
let's say you didn't have enough money to make a second floor. How would I upgrade this to give it a little bit more beef above stone on the cheap without adding another floor?
So, I mean, here's the deal, right? And I don't want to go too in depth with it because it's kind of a pain. So, in order to do this, you can make this metal. Now, here's a mistake what most beginner players make all the time. Alright, there's my base. Okay? Now they know where your honeycomb starts and ends. So if you're going to harden the roof with metal, like he's suggesting, you have to metal everything. Because in Rust, there's this thing called top-down rating. And what it is when somebody just goes on your roof, they pick a square or a triangle, whatever your base is made out of, and they just blow through the roof and get in. They don't go through all those extra honeycomb layers because they're like, let me find the easiest way to raid you. And that's Rust in a nutshell. Anybody that's trying to raid you will find the easiest way to raid you. Mind you, Jade Monkey and I are very experienced in Rust. We've been playing it for years, so just make sure that when you make one floor a certain material, you want to make it all a material. Now, the cool thing about this base, and I forgot to mention in the beginning, is when you're seeing this firsthand, and you're like, oh, okay, like, well, I got an all-stone base, whatever. The great thing about that is when you are you got money to spend, and you can harden the roof and make it all metal, you can leave the outside honeycomb stone. So when somebody starts rocketing and blowing your stuff up, you make them burn their money. And what they don't realize is when they blow through this, and I'll have Jade demonstrate it for you in a second. Here.
Am I blowing through?
Come here. And I want you to take this honeycomb off.
This one?
Yep. Look at that. You've essentially disguised your base, the inner core, metal, and now they've wasted a bunch of explosives on your base, and now they just found out that you have the metal tier underneath. And guess what?
At this point, I've spent a lot of money just breaking 3 walls.
Yeah, just breaking 3 walls in the beginning is literally like night and day grind. And they just found out you had metal, and they're like, well, this is worthless. I can't raid this base anymore, and we just wasted all our explosives. I mean, it's a great beginner base. It's the Chad Stop base. You know, it's definitely going to be modular. And this is what you need in the beginning. I would say bring with you 4K wood, 4K stone, and then you should be able to create it. It might be a little less, a little bit more, but just to be safe, make sure you bring those types of mats with you and have building plans and a hammer, and that's it for the Chad Stop base. So, if you guys want to go ahead, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys drop those subs and likes. If you aren't familiar with Jade Monkey or the Boyfriend Squad, which consists of myself, him, and BioLaser, check us out. You can click on the links to their channels in the description below. And we're definitely going to be having tutorials, base builds, and everything for you guys out there for you to learn how to play Rust before you even get the game. It'll apply to the beta and full game release for Xbox and PS4. And I hope you guys enjoyed this base. I know it took a little bit long to build, but I wanted to explain with some experience on how you accomplish your first base in Rust. And I hope it's the Chad Stop base, because you'll have maximum storage, the least amount of upkeep in your TC, and it's for you and friends. So thanks for stopping by the channel, and I will see you soon. Ay, 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 ay.